One of the more popular ways to do decorative lacing for the Western looking leather is to do buck stitching. There are two basic ways to do buck stitching. Let's have a look at both of these methods. Here in front of me are the things that we would normally use to do buck stitching. Of course, we'll need some thonging chisels. Here we have one that's 5/32 wide and angled, and of course we have a single to match. Over on the other side we have some 1/8 inch straight chisel and also a 1/8 inch straight. Now, it's very important to have a good cutting board. I prefer to use the poly board, and of course I like to use beeswax to keep my punches gliding easily through the leather. And of course, most cases buck stitching is done with the white lace, so we have the white buck stitch lace here. To do the buck stitch with the angled holes, the first thing I'll do is take a wing divider and put a guideline and we'll bring our punching board in here and our angle punch. Now, I will first put my punch right on the line, and I stamp deep enough to go through and no deeper. And I have, by the way, I have polished the tines on my chisel, and I'm also using some beeswax. This makes it easier to stamp and also easier to remove. When it starts to stick a little bit, just go get a little more beeswax. And it becomes easy. As we get to the corner, we may need to back up a little bit and decide, okay, let's back up a little bit. And then I'm going to turn it to go down the other way. Now, I'm going to put that corner hole in after I punch this one. Now, my corner hole, you notice I have this angle here right now, and over here I'll have the angle going that way. So what I need to do is punch a hole that divides up that angle, and that's about it right there. And that's why we waited to punch the corner hole. Now we will continue punching all the way around our project. We will begin lacing by coming out between the layers of leather, as you see me here, and leaving an inch or two for ending later. Now the next one will go all the way through both thicknesses of leather, and we'll pull it up snug. Now we'll go through the next hole in the other direction, as you see me doing here. Now, in this case, on the back side, you will see raw leather, and you will see the finished leather on the front side. Pull these up fairly snug. And we will continue lacing all the way around. When we get to the corner, we just do as we normally would. Go through, making sure now when we come in the next hole that we have our bright side or the finished side out. And you may want to use a fid sometimes when you're going from the inside out. It makes life a little easier. And we just continue. As we come near the end here now, it's a good idea to snip off the end of that lace that we started with and stuff it down in between the layers of leather as I've done there. Now we can continue lacing. By the way, it takes about 1.5 times the distance to be laced for the buck stitch. Now we go through the last hole on that side. Now we've got one hole left here on the back side, so we'll go in that hole, but we're going to have to go up between the layers of leather, as you see me doing here. And we'll pull that up snug. Then you can take it down between the layers if you want, and reach inside and pull it down. And finally, you can tap it to where it's nice and smooth. To do the second method, we've got here a 1/8" chisel, single and a 4-prong, and I've take my wing dividers, make guideline, and then I will first I'll punch my corners now. You notice I've got the beeswax here again. This makes it very easy for the punch to come in and out of the leather. Only have to go through the leather, not through the board. This makes it more difficult to get your punch back out if you punch too deep. To do the buck stitching on the straight holes, we do it the same way. We start the same way. We come out between the layers of leather, and you roll the leather so that it, when it tightens up, you will see the front part of the lace. Now, in the back, you will roll the same direction and come out that hole, and then we will have the finished side on the back as well. It's just kind of like a spiral now. We'll go in and out, and just spiraling it so that we end up with a finished side, front and back. This is actually the way they used to do it in the old days, before they invented the angle punches. Many people prefer it this way. I happen to be one of them. And now everything is just the same, except on the back side we roll it so that there's a finished side, front and back. As we did with the other one, we tap it down with the mallet. And the nice thing about this now, it doesn't matter front or back. It looks the same on both sides.